Good afternoon, Dr. Amna, for all that brilliant. I don't think I deserved all that you said, but I can still take it to my stride. I think one thing that I needed to add for my audience is that Insol India is an organization with 25 years of experience at its command when insolvency was not thought of in India. And I succeeded an honorable judge of the Supreme Court with us today, though demitted office, my Lord Justice Sikri, who was also the president of Insol India. And this honor is today presently on my head that I continue to be the president of Insol India, relevant for the purpose of today's position. And then I have with me, I'm sharing the panel with none else but the person who laid the foundation for insolvency IBC code. And record time, we brought this situation to the parliament, and the parliament thereafter enacted IBC. And what we see after 5 years, that where all we have brought this legislation to. And I think we all participating in today's summit organized by Legal Era. I must first congratulate them for thinking that we must continue with this new normal era, trends, challenges, opportunities, and future that we have in this country, especially in respect of the insolvency regime. I think we have come a long way through. The foundation, as I said, was laid down by none less by Mr. Vishwanathan himself. He gave us the path, and I don't think he will feel bad about it. I feel a sense of pride that every stakeholder who has participated or has come to participate in it has played its role positively and seen that this legislation comes up with new trends, new challenges, which we adopt and meet the needs of the time. 1 year, as Dr. Amna said, we suspended the provisions of the IBC, but the fact remains is that the 5 years period that we have crossed, we have led new era into insolvency. And this is one of the few, I think the only country probably which thought that we should have creditors in place instead of debtor in place in the management. And it has worked wonders. It has brought discipline among the corporate debtor. It has now thought people have started thinking in terms of that if I take a loan, I have to repay it. There could be decisions which may nothing to do with person himself. It could be a decision in terms of business world. We saw so much of changes, so much of calamity. COVID brought about new changes for us. But the fact of the matter is that right from the resolution professional, who is actually the pivot on whom the IBC moves, till we go to the Honorable Supreme Court, each one of us has played its role to ensure that this legislation does not meet the same fate as we saw SICA or DRT going through. And I am happy to see that new trends are coming up. I do remember, therefore, yesterday a question was put to me with respect to the recent decision of the Supreme Court. So I only answered in one sentence, and I have no difficulty in giving to this audience gathering, that I went to Supreme Court when I was a student, and the Chief Justice that time was Justice Raitullah, and we were sitting in the, of course, not in the main room, but in the guest where they were. And the Honorable Chief Justice said, please don't think that we don't go wrong. It is just that we are final. So don't think that the Supreme Court can't go wrong. It will be possible. But again, I reflect that also with respect to what is the assistance being rendered to the Supreme Court or to an honorable judge. And therefore, that some deviation that has come in, I don't think should stand in our way in the 5 years journey that we have done. In fact, at Legal Era, we have collected a lot of information, provided inputs to the board, gone ahead and saw what we can do. That's also the done we did at Insol India. In fact, I'm proud to tell this August gathering that what I am sitting here today is with two honorable members of my board who have been advising Insol India in what future we have to do with respect to insolvency regime to come up. I think Dr. Amna raised that issue of recovery to be made or not, and I wanted to make it clarify right at the outset that IBC is not a recovery process. I am actually looking for a day when a COC or a resolution professional would propose that a person who is today giving a resolution plan as a resolution applicant, his past record, his acumen, his experience in the particular industry is much higher than the person who's going to bring in few crores of rupees into the country, into the project, into the corporate data. Therefore, the COC passes a resolution and approves a plan where it finds a group of people or an individual, as the case may be, would be able to turn this industry around. And that resolution plan gets approval right from the adjudicating authority till of the Honorable Supreme Court. I am actually looking for a day, even if the recovery process is less, if I am able to restructure that, bring that industry back to book with maximization of the assets that it has, utilize it for public use, utilize it for the public economic purpose, then I think the very purpose, the backbone of IBC would stand fulfilled. I don't think we should look at whether the recovery is 42% in comparison to SICA or in comparison to Debt Recovery Tribunal, where we had less amount. That should not be the criteria. We have our challenges today. The economic position is difficult. We appreciate that. The MSMEs are finding it very difficult. That's why we brought in now pre-package. And I think it's time that we will look at pre-package even from a larger point of view, larger corporate debtors, not only confine it to MSMEs, and see how do we restructure them at our own level before even going into the question of the CIRP process, because that's also part of the statute now, and we should make back advantage of it. In fact, I must also share that in about a week ago, I was before the Honorable Supreme Court in a matter, and the Honorable Judge put it to me, where is your acumen gone of mediation, Mr. Chandhiok? Why are you not using it with respect to what you are doing in this matter also? And the matter got adjourned, enabling the corresponding parties, the two resolution applicants that were fighting, to probably sit down and see how we can then resolve these issues. Therefore, these are now, everything is interwoven. We cannot have one isolated situation to look at. Therefore, I would congratulate every one of them who has participated for all these 5 years. 5 years has been a challenging situation. Normally, a teething problem would always come, but here the legislature, and especially the IBBI under the chairmanship of Dr. Sao, must be congratulated that they reacted instantly to wherever the situation came, changed the regulations, brought about new change so that we can know the exigencies. We have seen 5 years of report that if you see IBBI, we have seen resolution professional people had thought, in fact, Dr. Vishwanathan will bear me out, people had in fact thought, made an apprehension that there's no profession called a resolution professional. How are we going to get this? A person who will be able to look at the business, who will have business acumen, would also look at legal position, make a resolution plan, make information memorandum, and will be able to place it before the COC. But we have seen people have risen to the occasion. The challenge was accepted by lawyers, company secretaries, chartered accountants, and everybody who came as a resolution professional. They came a far too good that we probably see. And I think they, as a community today, as resolution professionals, we must congratulate them. Each one, as I said, has played a positive role. We didn't start looking at that this is the loophole in this, as many people say, why was cross-border not brought in? And I don't want to answer that. I'm sure Dr. Vishwanathan is going to say that. But we have seen actually without that, the NCALT in a given situation of Jet Airways actually brought about that change. And that change became a world situation that we did so wonders. We brought the administrator as part of the COC from a foreign country. There are disputes that require consideration. I am not saying we have passed that stage. We are getting new challenges today. We are looking at where is the business interest lying. There are holding companies in India where subsidiaries are carrying on business abroad. Time has come that we have to look at cross-border in a different way. And that's not only in this subject. I think in every branch of law, cross-border is becoming an important subject. We will have to look at it. India will have to look at it. We all professionals who are participating today will have to give us ideas to see how we can manage this problem that we are facing today. More so because the economic condition all over the country is booming. It reminds me of 1978 when, for the first time on an insulation matter, I went to New York for a matter. But today, a matter which came about 10 days ago, we found a meeting point to meet. So therefore, these are challenges, but opportunities also for us to look at. I'm sure this one-day summit will bring about and carve out what new challenges are, give us some solutions. We'll probably at Legal Era put them together in our committee and see what best we can do to suggest this to the legislature, so suggest it to the regulator as well as IBBI board, and to bring more awakening among people. And I'm sure we'll use the platform both of Insol India and Legal Era with respect to the same. I do not wish to stand in between Dr. Vishwanathan and Dr. Sikri. Both of them are experts in this field. As I said earlier, Dr. Sikri, when he debated office in the Supreme Court, and we were felicitating him, we called him a resolution judge. And resolution is one of the most aspects that we see under the CIRP process. We have done well. Please don't look at many people criticize our NCLTs and our courts saying they take too much of time. Plus, please appreciate one judgment good laying down law from NCLT or NCALT or from the Honorable Supreme Court shortens the litigation, shortens the time that we'll spend in 50 other matters where similar question will rise. So please divide that time amongst that, and I'm sure we have done wonders. I'm no doubt about it that today there are new problems that have come in. There's a new normal era today. In the new normal, we'll also face these challenges as we have done earlier. Thank you so much for participating in today's, and thank you, Legal Era, once again, for giving me an opportunity to be amongst this gathering. And on a panel, I would tell you what insolvency and bankruptcy would mean. We have done that. I think time has come for the government to also consider whether we should not bring the remaining provisions of the IBC code into operation so that the IBC code works to its totality rather than keeping them in a bench still, though we have brought individual into, but only towards the guarantors who are guarantors to the corporate debtor. We must test this legislation with respect to personal insolvency also. And maybe, of course, we as a working group had made a submission, made a recommendation saying that DRT at this moment is overwhelmed with work. The dockets are very high. Therefore, a district judge in every district may be a better idea to probably confer this jurisdiction. But that I leave to the wisdom of the corporate, the legislature ultimately, and the regulator. But with all this, looking forward for a very fruitful day where we'll have many discussions. Experts in the field would come forward, give us new questions, and probably answer for us also. And we'll hope we at Legal Era will continue as a committee member and of the insolvency to make that submission, and we'll take this experience of the day today to Insol India and take it forward. I'm actually only want to last word that we have now started looking at insolvency at the LLB level. We have gone now and there's an annual moot court that we do with respect to New Delhi. We have a National Law University in New Delhi every year. Last year, despite pandemic, we got 41 entries into it. I'm sure this year we'll get many more. This is the way we intend to build this profession, and time is ahead for us. We should meet these challenges. And I think the opportunities and future in India for insolvency and bankruptcy both, it would be tested. And we would be, as we got an award in 2018 or 19 as the best jurisdiction in the world, time has not come that we'll get again recognition by the world. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Amna.